I think this is gonna be a good one today. This is Backyard Monsters, the original Clash of Clans. Here we go.
Over 10 years ago, Clash of Clans was released, and within 3 months, it was the highest grossing game in the US. And in 2013, it was the most profitable game in the world. With all of this enormous success, there was bound to be many imitators that would try to copy the Clash of Clans formula.
I wonder how much money, I'm sure there's a graph out there somewhere, but I wonder how much Clash Royale has made comparative to Clash of Clans. Like, Clash of Clans was an absolute just money farm, and so is Clash Royale. Like, they both just absolutely print money, but I wonder what it is comparably.
Formula. But what if I told you that Clash of Clans was not the original, and that they stole everything from another game? From the P.E.K.K.A to the Town Hall, and even copied the tutorial word for word, scene for scene. Here is the real history of Clash of Clans. KIXEYE, a game studio founded by David Scott, Paul Priest, and Will Harbin, is responsible for some of the most popular Flash games of all time. In 2007, David Scott created Element TD, the first ever standalone tower defense game on Flash. Soon after, Paul Priest created Desktop Tower Defense, a tower defense game where the player would create their own maze, unlike the usual preset paths the enemies would follow in most tower defense games. This game was a huge success and had over 100 million plays. Paul's second variation of this game,
100 million plays in the Flash days is crazy. Like, you'd be hard to get 100 million players on a game nowadays. Like, but for Flash, I mean, maybe it's less insane because there wasn't as many things to play in that day, but even still, 100 million players for Flash is absolutely wild.
Game was made for Facebook called Desktop Defender. Bringing the game to Facebook allowed the game to be played online with friends. This taught him and David a lot about creating online games. After this was released, they wanted to make another game expanding on this idea. David Scott, a co-founder of KIXEYE, came up with the idea to make a tower defense game where you would build your maze over a long period of time. This version would be more like building a base in an RTS, like Command and Conquer, rather than the typical tower defense game. You would then construct and send troops to attack other people's mazes. The idea evolved into a game where you would build a city, train monsters, and then send them to go loot other people's cities. Doing this combined the MMO and RTS genres for the first time.
It's all coming together.
Was called Backyard Monsters.
Guys, I was an OG. I played Backyard Monsters. Why did I play it? Well, I played Clash of Clans OG as well. I, in fact, played Clash of Clans early on, and then I'm playing it on my iPad one day, and my brother comes to me because he wants to play on the iPad. No, I did, bro. I swear to you, I played Clash of Clans OG, and I played Backyard Monsters OG. Okay? But my brother saw me playing Clash of Clans one day, and he's like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm playing Clash of Clans." He's like, "Oh, I want to play that too." So he started his own Clash of Clans base. Or no. He started playing Clash of Clans on my account and just took over my base, basically. Like, at first we were like cooperating. He'd be like, "Yeah, I'll play when you're not playing." And eventually he was like, "Yeah, I upgraded this. Yeah, I upgraded that." And then he stopped running decisions by me. And then he just took it over. So I stopped playing Clash of Clans. And I didn't play it for a decade. And then I came back to it and probably dropped it about after a few months. But Backyard Monsters, I was looking for alternative games like that because my brother took over my Clash of Clans base. So I played Backyard Monsters. I also played a bunch of other games like this, and Backyard Monsters was the one I made the furthest progress in.
The game was called Backyard Monsters.
I have no idea what just happened there. I don't think I ever got the nuclear option in that game. That's insane.
A week before Backyard Monsters was released, the game was top-down 2D, and over a weekend, David Scott rewrote the engine and redrew all of the buildings and monsters artwork to make the game isometric 2D, a style that almost all MMORTS games use today, including Clash of Clans. Backyard Monsters started development in the second half of 2009 and was released on March 12, 2010. Now that we know that Backyard Monsters was the first MMORTS, let us see what Clash of Clans stole from Backyard Monsters. Starting with the tutorial of both games, you can start to see the similarities. In both games, you start off by building a cannon to protect your base. Soon after this, the enemy sends over monsters or goblins to attack your base.
At this point, it really just comes down to who has the most money to throw at development, because Backyard Monsters sure was the first idea to do it, but it just kind of has booty graphics. Like if you look between Backyard Monsters and Clash of Clans, Clash of Clans clearly has the better graphics, but I mean Backyard Monsters was first, unfortunately got beat out by the good looks. It's literally Richard Nixon on the left, Richard Nixon on the left, Kennedy on the right.
After a successful defense, you will receive Pokey, or in Clash of Clans, you receive wizards to seek revenge on the enemy. After successfully defeating the enemy base, you build a hatchery and resource collectors. Just like in Clash of Clans, where it has you build a barracks, an elixir pump, and gold mine. At the end of both tutorials, the game has you upgrade your town hall to level 2. Yes, you heard that right. The tutorial of Clash of Clans was stolen from another game that came out 2 years earlier. In this section, we will examine the origin of key elements in Backyard Monsters, including the town hall, resource collectors, and defenses.
Even though I played this game over a decade ago and I was just a kid, I don't remember it looking this bad. I thought it had kind of more cartoonish graphics. Maybe they updated it to make it look better.
As I said before,
eventually.
David was influenced by real-time strategy games such as Command and Conquer. In an RTS game, the town hall is the most important building, as it serves as the hub for building and upgrading structures and troops. To upgrade buildings and troops, you need resources. In some RTS games, you can gather resources by sending out workers or by having resource collectors that generate resources passively over time. David Scott, the creator of Backyard Monsters, combined these elements from popular RTS games with an MMO game to create a new type of game. While Backyard...
do I remember any of those monsters? Pokey, Fang, Octo Ooze, Brain, Bolt, Wormser. I don't remember any of these guys. Oh, I remember Dave. I do remember Dave.
From popular RTS games with an MMO game to create a new type of game. While Backyard Monsters expanded on the RTS genre by giving players their own map/base to build and upgrade over time, Clash of Clans did not innovate much and simply copied this mechanic. This made the game more about attacking and building bases, while eliminating the need for players to start from scratch and manage resources each game. Backyard Monsters was an always online game with countless of bases to raid. This meant that David Scott needed a way to regulate player progress. He introduced several key innovations, including limiting the number of builders per player to 5.
My thing about these games is that, when I played Backyard Monsters, I don't think I raided anybody. If I did very little amount of raiding, and I just upgraded my base. Just logged on, upgraded my base, logged off. I'm not sure how I got... I doubt I did much raiding, honestly.
5. Implementing long upgrade times that could last for over a week, and capping the amount of housing spaces for each player's army. These innovations set Backyard Monsters apart from other RTS games.
Oh my gosh, the early sprites for Clash of Clans. I remember those. I remember the goblin looking high off their ass. And the giant. Oh my gosh, they both look high. The barbarian looks a little interesting. Man. Are those all the troops were initially? Barbarian, archer, goblin, giant, wallbreaker, balloon, wizard, healer, dragon, P.E.K.K.A. That's crazy.
Unfortunately, Clash of Clans simply copied these ideas without acknowledging their origins. As a result, many people wrongly believe that Clash of Clans was the original game.
Kaka's the original. Town Hall, upgrade times, troop camps, builders, Dave. Came out 2 years earlier. Yeah, Backyard Monsters was really just OG. So if we think about it, I am Unk. Like, if you started on Clash of Clans, you're an Unk. but I started on the Predecessor. So call me Double Unk.
With these long upgrade times, of course people wanted to speed them up, and that is where Backyard Monsters brought in their in-game currency called Shiny. In Backyard Monsters, Shiny is a premium currency that players can earn by completing quests, removing obstacles from their yard, or by purchasing it with real money.
Holy, it even came up with obstacles in the yard. Clash of Clans really just hit the Control-C, Control-V.
Shiny can be used to speed up building and training times, trade for resources, or hire additional workers. The second builder will cost you 250 Shiny, the third one is 500, fourth is 1,000, and the fifth one is 2,000 Shiny. These are the exact same prices that builders cost in Clash of Clans.
Dang, that's
we will
crazy.
now go over some of the more miscellaneous things that Clash of Clans took from Backyard Monsters. There are too many to go into great detail.
W-lick for cock. Alright.
Just name some that are self-explanatory. Backyard Monsters came up with an easier way to build your base using a top-down base editing feature called the Yard Planner. Clash of Clans had their own version of this called the Layout Editor.
Why did I never use that? I don't remember using this. I must have been too young and dumb to actually like want to figure this out.
Base editing feature called the Yard
Alright, my headphones just turned off. We're trolling.
Planner. Clash of Clans had their own version of this called the Layout Editor. Surprisingly enough, Backyard Monsters had a second base the player could use in the game called the Inferno Yard. This came out on January 13th, 2012. This base had alternate versions of the monsters from your normal yard, with some having new abilities and playstyles. Clash of Clans added something similar to their game called the Builder Hall. This came out in 2017. Backyard Monsters had a feature called Alliances, where players could join groups with their friends. The alliances could give you a few different types of bonuses, but there were no wars like Clash of Clans. Interestingly, both of the game's clan badges are similar in design, although neither is unique.
This is actually crazy.
The Monster Bunker is a defensive tower that releases monsters from it when any of the attacker's troops enters its range. This building works exactly the same on defense as the clan castle. Now that we know where the core game mechanics for Backyard Monsters came from, let us learn more about their troops.
Holy. This looks like the easiest copyright infringement case I've ever seen.
We will start with troops from Backyard Monsters, and let us see if you can name the troop that Clash of Clans turned them into.
Okay, bet.
Starting with the Pokey, it's a low health and damage melee troop that targets anything.
It wouldn't be the Goblin, because Goblins target... Do Goblins target anything? I thought they targeted, like, the resource storages. Might be the Barb. Probably the Barb.
They're not very good by themselves, but in a group they could do some real damage. They also take up very minimal housing space and are easily killed off by splash damage.
Goblin. I'm thinking Goblin.
What Clash of Clans troop does this remind you of? Oh yes, of course. It
Okay.
is the Barbarian.
The Barb. I was right there.
The infamous Dave is the strongest base troop in Backyard Monsters. Comparing him to the original P.E.K.K.A from Clash of Clans, you can see where they got the idea from. They both have acronyms as names, both are the last troop to unlock in the game, both take up a lot of resources and time to be created, both are slow but very powerful, and lastly they are both mysterious robotic figures. The Octa Ooze is a slow-moving, high health and low damage melee
Slow-moving, high health, low damage. That's the giant.
troop that only targets defense towers. They are a good distraction for smaller troops. You can see the similarities between the Octa Ooze and the giant. The Ball is a very fast-moving looter with low health and high damage. They only target buildings with
that's the
resources in
Goblin.
them until all of those are destroyed. Not really much to say here besides that they are very similar to the goblins from Clash of Clans. The Ira is a monster that's favorite target is walls. They will blow themselves up,
Wall breaker.
damaging or destroying walls. They are a great opening troop as it helps your monsters infiltrate the base faster. And yes, you guessed it right. This is what Clash of Clans copied to make the wall breakers.
Oh, this is interesting. See, Backyard Monsters like came up, obviously got copied by Clash of Clans, and then died. Nobody talks about Backyard Monsters, and it's honestly kind of sad that Backyard Monsters didn't stick around because it was a good game. I thought so.
Now let us get into why you have never heard of Backyard Monsters.
Yes.
Backyard Monsters was a flash game only playable on Congregate and Facebook. Within the first 3 months, they had grown over 500,000 monthly active.
Wait a minute. I played Backyard Monsters on my phone. They had a mobile release. Let's confirm real quick. See, this is what I'm talking about. These are the graphics I remember. I don't remember those booty buns, graphics. All right, but what is all this? Can I just open up the image? There we go. Yeah, these are the graphics I remember. Yes, sir. Oh, it looks way better. They did release it on mobile, though, in some capacity. Yo, wait. I may have to get this. Oh, it was Backyard Monsters Unleashed. So 2013. Okay. See, that fits in with my story that I was saying I was looking for alternatives and I found Backyard Monsters Unleashed. But I'm still an OG. I still claim the OG ticket, so.
Users, and by July 2010, that number had grown to 4.5 million. This game was something that no one had ever seen before. And
does he cover it? The mobile release? He doesn't cover it.
To its early success. One of the unforeseen downsides of Backyard Monsters would be that it was a game made on Flash and could only be played on the computer. Comparing that to Clash of Clans that can only be played on the phone, you can start to see the problem with the game. A base building game where you are encouraged to check on your base every day is a lot easier with a phone than on a computer. Many people do not know this, but Clash of Clans was originally being developed for the computer and not mobile. Now, it is easy to say that Backyard Monsters should have been made for the phone, but this was 2010, and the gaming market was just getting started. Also, the developers of Backyard Monsters were veteran Flash developers. They could not have foreseen the success this game was going to achieve. Now, even with this inherent downside, why did Clash of Clans become so much more successful than Backyard Monsters if they just copied their game? In the words of David Scott, they did teach us a valuable lesson on the importance of a game's theme on its overall reach and success. You see, Supercell saw the success that Backyard Monsters was having on Facebook, and saw an opportunity to put the game on the rapidly growing mobile gaming market. They made a very friendly and clean art style that people of all ages would like to look at. They designed their troops where anyone can understand what they do without having to play the game. Whereas in Backyard Monsters, you would have no idea what these troops do. But
that is true. That is a fair assessment. It is a lot harder to identify what these guys would do. Although, you could kind of infer like, okay, this guy's probably fast. This guy's probably powerful. You would not know that this is a wall breaker. You would know that this is a melee. And then, yeah, you would probably have no clue for this guy. So these two are fair. These three are not as a fair assessment.
Just looking at them. Clash of Clans took Backyard Monsters and coated it with a fresh coat of paint, cleaned up a couple of problems, added better social features, and brought the game to a much larger audience. This is why they succeeded, but we must give credit to the real innovators who created the genre and are the only reason that Clash of Clans could be around today. Another thing that David Scott told me about his feelings on Clash is, I will say that is a good thing for all, that game design cannot be copyrighted. If it were, then we would all be playing Wolfenstein 3D. I just wish people innovated more though. Wise words from a true innovator of the industry.
He didn't, man.
This video was created to shed light on the true history of Clash of Clans, as the game's developers have shown little interest in acknowledging it. Despite watching several videos about the game's history, I could not find any that mentioned Backyard Monsters as Clash of Clans' source material. It is now clear that Clash of Clans is the real clone, which makes the thousands of videos calling other games Clash of Clans clones ironic and hypocritical. I would like to give a big thanks to David Scott for providing valuable insight into the creation of Backyard Monsters and helping with the making of this video. His input cleared up some questions and taught us more about the game's development. Despite attempts to reach out to developers who worked on the original Clash of Clans team, none responded, but I remain interested in learning about their development process and why they chose to move the game's development to mobile.
Dang. That was a good video. Shout out Sticky C.